Hey, what's up? It's always a pleasure to be with you.
Nice to see you, dog.
Yeah, man. Who am I with today?
Turabify. I am. It's a pleasure to be in your company, man. So we've been talking to each other for how many months now?
So I've met Turabify, leader of the Turabify Network, and also very big influencer within many dental networks, soon to be 10x Dental as well. We met at, ironically enough, a 10x web conference because we were getting ready for the 10x conference, which helped kickstart my company in a sense.
Yeah.
And during that web conference, or I'd give a little backstory, just a little bit. Before that, I was starting to come up with my business plan and what I would be doing in Ocean City. And Mom said, all right, I'm going to take you to your first ever business conference. I'm going to fly you for the first time on first class. Doesn't matter how we're going to be able to get there. You know, Mom's going to make the money. I'm going to hustle extra, take you there. You deserve to grow. You deserve to learn. Part of this package, we got Cardone University. So now I have that as a tool for my company to utilize and leverage and grow their sales knowledge and early business knowledge as well. And she also, a part of that whole conference ticket, got some webinar or some class. It was a couple of web experiences with Grant Cardone live.
Yeah.
And with me just starting my company, I was super excited, and I was marketing. It was advertising. At the end of the day, you have to be the loudest as the CEO. So I used those web conferences as an opportunity to start networking and to start meeting individuals and being loud and letting them know who I am and what I do. So before any breakout rooms, I was keyboard warrior. I was typing. Hey, if you guys need marketing or anything, hit up ZDT Entertainment Studios. Hey, my name is Zach. If anyone wants to meet me, but kept on going. I got about 6 warnings. I was on my mom's account, so they kept on thinking it was Christine Moss. So they kept on saying, Christine, you need to stop. A little did they know I was behind the camera. So when we finally had a breakout room, it was a little embarrassing when I turned on the camera as Christine Moss. It would be me, Zachary Thornton, a male individual behind the camera. It was a little misleading. It did maybe hurt the trust of this one individual I'll get with soon, or get to soon. And that's when I met Turabify in one of the breakout rooms. And I was really big into networking and meeting new people. And that's what the network is all about. So, of course, who do you think would have taken me on? Mr. Turab, he wanted to get to know me, pick my brain. I needed a mentor. I needed to grow. I wanted to pick his brain. So we were able to exchange contact information.
And let me also elaborate. The time was also really necessary for me. So at that point, I had been making content for Turabify for about 6 months or something. And I was like posting all my own stuff. And I don't know, I think I was pretty good about daily posts for the most part. And the short form and all of this. I used to edit out and put certain parts. I used to make my own short form at the time. And I was like, dude, I know I'm going to get busy with dentistry. I was still in dental school at the time. And I know that I'm going to have some extra money to be able to outsource this skill that I don't want to pick up myself. So it was actually a perfect synergy in the sense that you were looking for a contract and I was really seeking one. And your personality, I was just like, this kid's out here getting it. Loves it.
Just to reiterate, I don't even think I was looking for a contract. I'm going to be honest with you. I was looking for growth and knowledge.
This is true, because we started working together actually much later than that.
Yeah, I asked you to be my mentor. I didn't ask you to take on a contract with me.
True.
And if you want my honest opinion, because you were doing something that wasn't revenue generating, I wouldn't think that you would want to pay that much money into it since you already had a team that was doing it cheap. I just pitched out there if you wanted to grow me even further with capital, I'm already out there if you want me to, be at one of your contracts. But I was mainly focused on the lobsterman.
Interesting.
Because I was developing that relationship, and when I got into one of the diamond parties at the 10X conference, through my production, which is funny pitch there, I met Eric and Eric was a lobsterman with this other guy. And I was like, dude, what are you guys doing here? He's like, we're trying to grow our business. Like, that's super cool. I love to be involved. After talking with a bit, in our second month of conversation, he told me he's always wanted to get into the content industry. So I'd love to help you. Just let me know when you're ready. And then that's when that hit in July.
Yeah.
Like,
Because at the time, I was working with a team from Pakistan. And I remember we were having weekly conversations. Like every Friday, we're like, okay, let's have a conversation. Let's just talk about life.
Maintain
ideas.
Yeah. And then also take you on as a mentor. Because I took that again. My mom instilled just go there and grow and learn and meet people. So that was my goal. It wasn't about money because I didn't understand the money that I could have assumed. I didn't believe in myself that much yet.
Yeah.
I was still in transition of waking up every day and reminding myself that I'm a business. I'd have to get reminded. My mindset would change when I'd get a phone call by you or when I get a phone call by somebody. And then I'd be reminded, like, I'm in the game. This is real. I'm doing something that's helping people and potentially just like changing lives if I really like shift my focus. So I just, said, all right, things can be realistic. They can be unrealistic. But what do I define as realistic and unrealistic? I just raise the bar because I always want to raise the bar. I've been known to raise the bar, and I'm just like nicer things.
We had a lot of really interesting conversations in that period as well before we actually started working together and I became your business partner in ZDT. We had a lot of conversations about leadership. We had a lot of conversations about people, about our philosophies in life. So it takes a little while, I would assume, to get to know people deeply. And Zach being from Maryland and I'm from Ohio, we didn't have this. We didn't meet each other in person until probably about 6 to 7 months after.
Even after our contracts served each other in person.
Exactly. So it's been an awesome ride so far, and we got a lot of really big plans, a lot of really exciting stuff to do, and I'm really looking forward to getting integrated. You guys coming out here and doing the media here, it's really nice. We're gonna try to open a ZDT Entertainment Studios outlet here in Ohio as well, and get some contracts and stuff through there. So it's gonna be really interesting to see how we evolve and develop that company, your company, and make it into something that's kind of all over the place, like that it can actually have access to people that are far away from Maryland, far away from Ohio. We can send out crews and get that footage from the people that are paying, and to actually create content from it, and then to post it all out and eventually generate more revenue for those people. I mean,
it's a beautiful structure we have set it, but it's also a beautiful case study then for your network to showcase to everyone not only what we're about, but also what he's about and his capabilities and what he can do for you. So don't be shy. Also comment down below some of your needs, either it be with production or if it's business development, and we'll be sure to try to set up a meeting with you and discuss that further.
Yeah, dude. So in terms of where you want to go with this thing, so we've had some really interesting conversations about the personal stuff that you want to do inside of Maryland and the city of Ocean City. Can you tell me a little bit about how long you've been there? What exactly gets you motivated in terms of having these bigger aspirations for the city?
So my vision for Ocean City encompasses many things, and it all started with the development of CDT Entertainment Studios, which is the company I'm trying to build up. And I recognize that if you were to cut the United States in half, just draw a theoretical line down the center of the map, and you'd look at this eastern part. So the big realization that most people don't understand is that 80% of America's population is on this eastward part. Yet the whole entertainment industry is known to be hosted out of California or major cities. So the creative talent that is potentially nurtured, I call that untapped talent, that is around this eastern, maybe even seaboard, right? art inside of the States goes untapped because they have local communities that don't foster growth for their art. For example, the Ocean City Art League. You can join them for a membership fee. You can then take classes for a fee. And the classes don't encompass video editing, filming, modern art, any of this type of sense, like animation, game development. There's multiple forms of art I've learned as a creative. And there's communities that don't have the resources and don't have the infrastructure to develop for these individuals. So they can not only put food on the table, but grow, meet other people. So I'm trying to build that infrastructure for Ocean City.
But how? So we've also talked about you've had a major loss in your life, right? We've talked about how that's been a major factor of creativity and music in your life.
That's a different question. That's a different spark. The plan for Ocean City is motivated by something different rather than what motivated me to get into music and express that publicly.
Yeah.
Those are two different motivating factors.
How long have you been in Maryland, Ocean City?
Since I was 5, getting ready to turn 6. So basically, I was raised as a baby on the shore of Virginia Beach in a little shore home. Outside was the dunes. I had a little yellow jump truck just push across the beach.
Yeah.
So I always loved the water and the beach. Then we moved to Maryland because part of my family used to own farmland in Bayside. So I had lifetime rights and I gained lifetime rights there.
Yeah.
So I get to utilize that area.
So you have, so the reason that I'm kind of poking at that is because I don't know if ZDT and the plans for Ocean City should be separated, because the common link is you, and you've been there since you were 5 years old. So there's no saying how much impact it's had on you further than that, going back in time, in terms of your family actually having history there. You have an innate emotional investment in that geography, and it all plays into it.
My perspective is because the scale. My scale is large. I see Ocean City as my case study, as my launch pad. If I can perfect it here in a short amount of time, it gives me more time to do it in other communities, which is set in my business plan. So if I'm able to then transition ZDT Entertainment Studios from the main service provider, have my subsidiaries do all of the work, and have ZDT Entertainment Studios mainly focus on original films, mobile games, applications, and development/investment for the entertainment industries and local communities that need it or where it could thrive, that's what I could do. I could use Ocean City as a case study, as in saying your community needs more investment, you want to grow, you want to develop. Let's talk development then. How do you want to garner outside investment? How do you want to create a new Fort Lauderdale? Well, you need to have things for people to do. You're trying to get bored. You need art and culture to influence and to stop crime. Psychologically proven, by the way. And you need some sort of influence. You need some sort of things that are going on that help motivate people. So you need high network individuals coming around. You need nicer things so people can look up to it. You need to attract that type of not only talent, but then also consumer. So then you could, make money if you did start a nice high-rise luxury hotel in Ocean City, because there is none. But if you started to put investment into that, you can start attracting those type of people.
So you talked to me about this concept of a garden. What does a garden mean to Zach?
So instead of me, for an example, since we're on the development scale of things, instead of me going out and just knocking door to door in New York City and just pitching to investors and colleges and all these people my dream plan of the new Fort Lauderdale, I do it myself, right?
As the gardener.
That is what you do as a gardener. You get the soil ready and you plant. Once the plants grow, the bees come. You don't go and ask bees, hey, can you come pollinate my plants? It's not how it works. You gotta make it beautiful, because if it's beautiful enough, then you have other creatures that come that you weren't expecting. You get to learn from them. You get to observe and watch how they interact with your garden. and it's beautiful.
Yeah,
It's an
and your
experience.
it has that in it, the imagery, the garden's imagery.
The garden is the flower, and the royalty is the wreath. Because this garden, we don't allow snakes in. You know, there's certain things that aren't allowed in this garden, that aren't tolerated, and there's a type of righteousness that we hold because of our self-discipline, because of our emotional intelligence, because of our spirituality. One of the 10 competencies that ZBT Entertainment Studios has as a team member, and you won't qualify if you don't have this, is to value human life and the human soul. And if you don't belong with us.
That line.
That is one of the top alignment, and that I need you to value human interaction, humanity. We are here to make people's lives better.
And that's part of this, a large part of the reason why we work together, right?
100%. That's the philanthropy that we share.
Exactly. And a lot of those conversations in the first 6 months or so, where we're getting to know each other and understanding and kind of parsing through things, was conversations of that nature, of how we wanted to use the power that we will eventually accrue to kind of create this environment where things can thrive and things can work together synergistically, and that people can have the freedom that they need to be themselves, but also contribute to an overall more productive system. And I completely have shared that philosophy. It's a lot of what I do in Bright Smiles Community Outreach Coalition for Franklin Dental Care and Dentures, where we hand out all these dental kits and the information that's relevant for people to get to understand preventative healthcare. I'd say it's a big mission of mine, which I've talked to you about, to essentially change the education system in the United States in particular to actually include more preventative education for children, so that they can take care of their physique, they can take care of their mind, they can take care of their oral health, and through that they can learn disciplines and personal development enough to actually become leaders, become those plants, those trees in that garden. And so the Turabify logo on the back, it directly aligns. I have a massive green thumb, and I've spent a lot of time, observing nature, and a big part of my goals long term is to make enough money to actually fund some of these sustainability projects, some of these like ecosystem redevelopment. In college, I considered myself an ecologist. I used to go into the woods and kind of, sit with the water and kind of observe how plant life was interacting. And
It's nice. It's fun.
it's a beautiful thing. And I think this whole, and I was actually having a conversation with your colleague earlier about how important it is to realize that deep business philosophy a lot of the times coincides quite directly with nature. And there's a lot of overlap in terms of the giving and the symbiosis and the collaboration that humans do with one another to create beautiful things, to create larger things, and how ecosystems or key species and ecosystems interact together. And so I think that's what makes certain business philosophies kind of contagious in, or particularly magnifying, is having our deeper nature embedded into a philosophy. Part of the reason we went to the 10X network, part of the reason your mom chose that, is probably because to some degree, some deeper level, she saw that as a part of the philosophy.
Yeah, and we talk about the garden. I'm a big observer. I love data. My big saying is big data. And that comes from a business professor, Dr. Jason John. He's an amazing individual. And he really motivated me to go up and just scale my company even further. And that's what helped me develop the business plan more in depth. That helped me when I was getting ready to sign the investment agreement with you and everything. And it was all good. And when I was able to bring all that to the table to him, it really showed him what type of caliber student I was. And he started bragging about me to everyone. It felt like an honor to be his student. Dr. Jason John taught me that big data is the most important for all the monies. I've never heard anyone say monies before. But when I heard him say monies, I was like, Let's make some monies with big datas. And I'm telling you, over time, this is crazy. Anyone who's learning business right now is a newbie. I will forever remember this. Learning that from Dr. Jason Cowan and going more in depth into business, getting more sophisticated and into the details and actually learning more. Big data actually contains everything. You need data. You need to measure internal data, measure external data. It deals with advertisements, how do you run your company, how you run finances, and predicts the future, everything.